Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. We are continuing our discussion on the essence of Bhagavad Gita here at Bandesh, Sri Radha Gopal Krishna Temple on this date, the 4th October 2022. Today we are going to be discussing chapters 7, 8 and 9 in continuation with our summary study of the Bhagavad Gita. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Krishna Sri Krishna Chaitanya all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bangam Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamam Vande Sri Gurudinatarinam Paramanandamathvam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhamini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So in chapter 6, where we saw last, towards the end of chapter 6, Krishna speaks about the best yogi. Yoginam api sarvesham maggatena antaratmana. So that type of a yogi, Krishna is spoken about in chapter 6. Now coming to chapter 7, Krishna is going to explain to Arjuna about that process, how to do that. Because yogi holding Krishna in his heart exclusively supposed to be the best yogi as per Krishna. So 7th chapter is all about how to do that. So, and also we said that it is from 7th chapter that Krishna starts revealing himself, up to the 6th chapter. Krishna has not revealed so much about himself, although a little bit in 4th chapter. But from 7, we will see Krishna revealing about himself more and more. So that is going to be the important theme of this 7th chapter. So in the beginning of this chapter, Krishna speaks about how to know Krishna through hearing about Krishna. Knowledge begins with hearing. That is why in the beginning of chapter 7, Krishna tells Arjuna, Tak Shrinu. That means hear. Hearing actually is the most important process in spiritual life. So, Krishna says you can know him by hearing about him from people who know him or from himself. 2 ways we can know about Krishna. One is from Krishna directly, which Arjuna is going to hear from Krishna. The other is by hearing from those people who know Krishna. This is actually the two ways, but in both the ways, hearing is the process. So that is why Krishna says Tak Shrunu. And then, because this is Jnana Vijnana Yoga, the seventh chapter, then Krishna starts talking about his material and spiritual energies. That also gets covered in this chapter. From the fourth shloka to the 12th shloka, you will actually see Krishna speaking about his material and spiritual energies. Because both these energies are to be understood, only then you will have proper perspective about this. You know, because we are all under one of those energies, and we are all aspiring to be under the other energy. This is how this whole process works. And then in this chapter, Krishna also speaks about those four kinds of people who are surrendered. And then Krishna also speaks about four kinds of pious people who surrender unto. That also is covered in this chapter. Krishna also speaks about those people who surrender to demigods, to devatas, and about their intelligence. About that process also, Krishna speaks in the seventh chapter. And then Krishna concludes this chapter by speaking about gaining freedom by knowing Krishna. And towards the end of the seventh chapter, Krishna will speak about this Adhyatmya, Adhibhautika, Adhideva, which will be the beginning of the discussion of the eighth chapter. So always we see in Bhagavad Gita how Krishna is linking that knowledge process. So in previous chapters, we will find that Arjuna is asking questions at the beginning of this chapter, of chapters. But in seventh chapter, Krishna starts speaking. These chapters, it's all either he is lamenting or he is questioning. In seventh chapter, because Jnana Vijnana Yoga, so Krishna starts speaking without being questioned by Arjuna. That is why seventh chapter first sloka you will have Sri.Govardhana Vacha begins with. Krishna starts speaking. That's a difference between the previous chapters and this chapter. So in this chapter, as I said, Krishna starts speaking about me, means about Krishna. Maya Sakta Manah Partha. So Mai, now Krishna starts speaking about himself. You know. And he says, now hear from me, O Partha. So again, the importance of hearing. And this, we also know that we all study Navavida Bhakti, spoken by and taught by Prahlad Maharaj. And we all know that it begins with Shravana. Correct? So the entire process of gaining knowledge about the absolute begins with Shravana only. And we also discuss, I don't know whether I discuss it this time, but that's another favorite topic of mine. What is actual Shravana? You know? What is actual Shravanam? Shravanam actually becomes complete when we execute what we hear. That is why it is told that Shravanam is the most important. Shravanam means what? Hearing from Krishna or Krishna's pure devotee or the Acharya. Hearing from authority, let us say. Whether even if you take Shruti, it is speaking directly the words of the Supreme Lord. If it is Upanishad, it is spoken by some sage who is being questioned by his disciple. If it is Purana, it is always the narrator, the Sutta, who will be narrating. So, what are we? We are the listener, the hearer, the audience. So, what are we hearing? Shravanam, in the process of Shravanam, what are we hearing? We are hearing instructions. Correct? We are hearing instructions or an information related to instruction. Now, hear from me how by practicing yoga and full consciousness of me with mind attached to me, you can know me in full free from doubt. Process. And how do you understand that process? Krishna says, hear from me. So, actual hearing means to undergo the process. Actual hearing means to execute the instruction. So, wherever we refer to Shravanam in the scriptures, we should know that this is Shravanam. Not that we hear and we forget. That is actually improper Shravanam. That is not Shravanam in its true sense. Is it not? We hear from the advertiser that use this toothpaste. Immediately we execute. We go to the shop next day and we find out where is this, because 24-hour my mouth will smell like ilaichi or whatever nonsense. So immediately we execute. That's proper Shravanam. Immediately we will do. Correct? So many things like that. That Shravanam we are doing very pakka. And this Shravanam, we always think we will do it another day. This Shravanam is more like the insurance agent. Poor fellow will come and say, you are in danger. He will say, you come later. Bhagavad Gita is actually ensuring our next life. Making sure that what our next life will be. That is, this policy is for that. But we always tell this agent that you go and don't come on. Right? Don't want to see the agent. When this fellow will stop calling. Many years before calls, it will go, you people behave like insurance agents. Keep on calling for program. I told you I'm busy. So from that I caught on to this, that this insurance agent keeping on calling and then people getting irritated. Same way, when somebody wants to give us Lord's message also, we behave like that, why are you like an insurance agent? I don't want to hear from you. But any other mundane topic, we would always open our conversation by saying, oh, so nice to hear from you after so long. Bhagavad Gita topic is so many, after so long also you tell the same thing only. I am speaking after 5 years here, I am speaking the same thing. Because Bhagavad Gita is the same, it has not changed in the last 5 years. It has not changed in the last 5,000 years. It is as it is. So what can you expect? But the point is, that's the most important thing. And Krishna is giving Arjuna the instruction that hear from me so that you can know me in full, and also he says free from doubt. So without a doubt, when you want to understand Krishna, you have to go through the process. And then Krishna speaks about, he says that I will now give you knowledge about both spiritual and otherwise, which means about this material world and about the spiritual existence, both I will speak to you. So again, we must understand that Bhagavad Gita is not only about the spiritual existence, it's also about the material existence. Why should Krishna speak both? So that we understand the futility of material existence and eternality of spiritual existence. Krishna must impress upon us both these things. It's his duty, poor Krishna, what to do. Because he has to reclaim all the lost souls. So he has to go through all that. And then he says that it is only very rarely that people understand me. Manushyanam Sahasreshu, And out of many thousands of men, hardly few people are interested. And out of hardly those few people are interested, hardly few are succeeding. So this is a good verse for devotees because we know, hardly few succeed. So even if I don't succeed, it's okay. Is it not? This is 1,000 times tougher than getting through that IIT entrance. Which is what in India, if you're an Indian, you ask any Indian student what is the toughest thing in life is to get into the IIT. I can tell you without a doubt. I have people going through at my home, so I know what they are going through. So, knowing Krishna is thousands of times tougher than that. Why? It is actually not that tough. The problem is that hearing is the problem. If someone hears as Krishna instructs in Bhagavad Gita, then Krishna can be understood. But because our hearing process is defective, we cannot understand Krishna. Then Krishna goes on to explain about the Prakriti and then about the Jiva and how Jiva is actually superior to this material Prakriti. And then Krishna goes on to explain to Arjuna in a very personal manner. Srila Prabhupada says this is actually a great challenge Krishna throws in this particular shloka, shloka number 7. Shloka. Matta parataram na anyat kinjit asti. Jaya mai sarvamidam prodam sutre maniganaiva. Everything is my sarvam. Is everything in me. And Prabhupada says that Krishna means when he says me, he means himself. So this is actually a great challenge for the impersonalist, for the one who says that everything is Brahman and there is no form. Then Krishna is in me, everything is in me, actually. In me means me, Krishna. So that is why, again, proper hearing is very, very important. And then Krishna goes on to speak about the 4 types of people. First, he speaks about the 4 types of people who never surrender. He speaks about 4 kinds of people who never surrender to him. Why? Because Krishna, before speaking about the 4 kinds of people who don't surrender, he says that generally people who are bewildered by the gunas of the nature, they can't know me. Because we are all bewildered by these 3 modes of material nature. Therefore, it is actually one who is in a bewildered